Hello, you guys. Happy Saturday. It's my Friday, but happy Saturday. Look, I even did my hair and everything. And that's going to probably be my thumbnail. But anyway, I'm having a really good day. I got up. I got up late. I got up at 1. But that's kind of my schedule now anyway. And I took a shower like immediately, did my hair, got dressed, did my videos. But then the video that I wanted to do for my first channel just kept on not turning out the way that I wanted it to. Which, it's reading hate comments, and if you want to go check it out, it's more typically of what you would see on this channel. So, I read that, but I have to get ready because in less than 4 hours, I'm having Peter's Big Pajama Party on my YouNow stream, and I'm super excited about it. And I have like 10 or 15 things I have to do before then. One of which is go get a new headlight because my headlights are out. Or one of my headlights is out. I feel like I just went and got it done. And I was gonna try to do it myself, but everybody's like, just go get it done and pay the $20. It's just totally 10 times easier. I'm like, I know, but $20 for a light bulb? But it is what it is. And Alex is gonna be at home tonight helping a friend of his work on her, she's getting married soon, but her website for her business. So I'm sure they'll sit around and have a glass of wine or something. And I had 1 cup of coffee that I made at home today. I actually made a cup of coffee this morning. And then, yeah. So that's about my life. How's about your life? How's about your life, though? I always panic in September because I have like all of these things that like, do you guys have stuff that's like due annually? Well, I have like 4 things that are due annually, and well, my car insurance is one of them, and my car insurance is always super high. Ugh, I hate my car insurance. And I mean, I love the guy that is my car insurance guy. I've had him for literally since I was like 18. He's amazing, but I just hate paying car insurance. And then my plates for my car, I have like, 5 or 6 things, and they all add up. So I have to have like an extra like extra $1,000 in September. So I have to save money throughout the year. I'm not very good at that, but I've actually kind of done it this year. So I'm very proud of myself. So I'm going into September not like too panicked about money, which is a good thing. So, well, and actually I'm rolling into the bank right now. Holla, holla, dollar bill though. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Hello. I'm back. I'm starting to think I'm drinking too much water. Like, it's kind of making my stomach hurt, and I think it's because of the water. I made these, like, Evol noodle things tonight, and then, like, I couldn't even eat them because I was full from, like, fruit that I had had earlier in the day for breakfast. I think I was full from it. I don't know. I was just telling Alex, he's like, it's not gonna happen overnight. I'm like, I've been dieting for 11 days and I'm just like really frustrated with it tonight. Like, and it's hard because I just wanna like go gung-ho crazy and just like eat really bad, like. I just do. So bad, I know. And the problem, like, is, like, if I eat a salad or if I eat fruit, like, fruit's a little bit easier because, like, on I use that in MyFitnessPal. You can do, like, 1 apple is, or 1 banana is so many calories. But, like, if you make a salad, it's really hard. And I know somebody below will probably be like, well, you should try this, you should try that. But to do that on there, to make a salad, it's really hard to, like, unless you measure literally everything you put in there, to, like, say, oh, a salad is so many calories, or it's this many calories, or I mean, it's like really hard to like figure out, how many calories it is. And I'm calorie counting on this diet. So even though I feel better because I've been a vegetarian now for how many days? 12. I'm going on 12 days for 11 total. And I haven't had any fountain pop, any soda, which I'm really proud of myself. Like, I'm kind of surprised I've made it this far, But at the same time, I feel like if I was eating like a very measured amount of calories, I would have lost more weight now, if that makes sense. Like, I very much feel like, for me, Like those Lean Cuisine meals and the Evol meals and things like that, like they're not healthy whatsoever, right? But like, because people are like, oh, they're high in sodium, they're high in this and whatever. I don't know that I 100% agree with that, to be honest with you. I think if you can eat those meals, and I know people are gonna come and say this and say that and read this book and all that kind of stuff, but like, I feel like, you know, if you're eating Lean Cuisines and you're eating, you know, those Evol, I like the Evol meals, that love backwards, and you lose 50 pounds because of that, well, then at 50 pounds less, you can get your sodium intake kind of under control. But at that point, like, it's I think when you're this heavy, as far as like risk of heart attack, heart disease, you know, like all kinds of things, diabetes, whatever, it's probably definitely more important to get your weight down. That would just be my guess. And then once you get your weight down, deal with some of those issues. And they're not horribly, like the ones that are dedicated to like healthier living, like Lean Cuisine, Smart Ones, you know, Evol, some of the ones that are vegetarian, they're not like extremely unhealthy. Like they're not horrible for you except for that they're processed, you know? But other than them being processed food, they're not like the worst things that you could ever eat in the entire world. So, I don't know, that's just my 2 cents. I'm sure everybody probably disagrees with me on that, but wouldn't be the first time people disagree with me on stuff. I think I'm just kind of cranky because I want to just drive through somewhere like McDonald's and just eat like shit tonight, you know? Isn't that so stupid? Like, that is so stupid. I'm just really craving bad food tonight. I'm not even craving like a fountain pop. I'm just honestly not, but I am gonna run into the gas station to get some water. It's exactly 1 a.m. Do you know where your children are? So I'm gonna be right back. Well, that was bullshit. They didn't have my water that I wanted. But I have this one back here. I found this one in the back. They have so many bottles of water at this point, it's ridiculous. Do you know what's really interesting too is that like people talk about like giving up sugar, but besides the fruit that I've eaten, I have had no sugar, like none. And I would have thought that I was like a really heavy like sugar eater, like that I like had like, you know, sugar intake was really bad for me. There's an ambulance coming. I think it's an ambulance, maybe a fire truck. Fire truck. I hope everybody's safe. I always say that after I see an ambulance or a fire truck. My head is killing me. I think I need some leave tonight. I haven't had to take any leave in like days, but tonight. I feel like I've tried everything that I'm supposed to be doing right now, like oh, here comes another one. Must be something serious. I feel like I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Like, I feel like I've done the, you know, smaller meals throughout the day, and I've done the, you know, eat breakfast and then eat a larger meal at lunch and then a smaller meal at dinner. I've done the eat one time a day, and, you know, throughout my life, not just on this time, but on this time too. And I feel like I'm just like, nothing seems to like, you guys are like, we're so tired of hearing about this diet, you know? It'll just be like, once I get into the jive of it, I think I'll be okay, but I'm just not into the jive of it right now. It is so cold in here. Why is it so cold? It's 72 outside. It shouldn't be cold. I'm wondering what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow. Alex and I want to go to the pool. So here's what I did today. What did I do when I talked to you guys last? Well, I was running errands. Did I talk about how it took me? I don't think I talked about this because I talked to Tanya the whole way from one place to the other. So I went to go get my headlight fixed. I don't know if I've talked about this on here. If I have, I apologize. I went to go get my headlight fixed, and I took it to this Jiffy Lube. The Jiffy Lube's just crap, except for this. There's this one Jiffy Lube that I like. Other than that, the rest of them are all just bullshit. I mean, I literally have problems at every Jiffy Lube I go to, except for this one that is in Fishers, Indiana. So I took my car to Jiffy Lube because all I needed was a headlight changed. Okay, that's it. Of which is $24. So the guy comes out and there's like nobody in waiting. There's a guy in front of me, but other than that, there's like nobody waiting, right? And he goes, it'll just be like a couple minutes. Can you wait? And I was like, yeah. He's like, flip up your hood. Well, he looks, he's like, okay, yeah, this will just like take like 5 or 10 minutes. And I was like, okay. He goes, wait, I'll be right back. 20 minutes later, he comes back, right? And he messes around with the front of the car. Doesn't say anything to me. At this point, 2 other cars have come up and one is like waiting to go into the thing. And they're now taking numbers, and I'm looking, and the one guy that works there, he's just smoking a cigarette over there. The other 2 guys that are working, one's just like standing at the register, at the cash thing inside, and the other guy that was working on my car, I haven't seen him come or go anywhere in there. And I'm like, what is going on? Like in a half an hour now, I haven't seen anybody work on any car in Jiffy Lube, and I've literally been sitting with my door open and my head up, my roof up, outside of the stall to go in to change a headlight, right? So he comes out and he's like, I'm really sorry to make you wait. And I was like, I wanted to say, yeah, it's been a half an hour. You guys are like, Peter, you're kind of angry tonight. I told you I'm not going to edit this shit out when I've had that kind of day. But anyway, I mean, this is first world problems, totally, but you know, I waited till the last minute to get all my shit done, so it's my fault. So anyway, he comes out and he's like trying to get it undone or whatever, and this Jiffy Lube didn't look any different to me than any other Jiffy Lube I've ever been to in my entire life. Hands down. They all look the same to me. There's a Jiffy Lube right there. This is actually the one they wanted me to go to. So, a true story. Here, I'll show you. Look. Jiffy Lube. They should call it Jiffy Screw You, is what they should call it. Anyway, so he works on it for a good 5 or 10 minutes. I'm thinking it's done, right? No. He calls somebody else over. This other guy comes over, and then they like throw the hood down, and I'm like, oh God, 45 minutes I've been sitting here, right? Something like that. I don't know how long it was. Yeah, it was like 45 minutes because I looked to see, because Tanya called me and I was talking to her and I said, let me call you as soon as I get settled, because I was going to call her as soon as I like, you know, they'd say, okay, wait, it'll be 15 minutes. I was going to call her back. It was like 45 minutes total. And I got there right at 4, and I was thinking they closed at 5. Thank God they closed at 7. So it's now 4:45. I still have like 3 errands to run, and I was getting on my live stream at 8 o'clock because I was doing Peter's super huge pajama party from 8 to 11 or 12 or whenever, and we were going to try to get 1 million likes. Wait, that's part of the story too. Whew, the world just did not work in my favor today, and you know what? That's okay. That's okay, because like, it sometimes doesn't go my way. It sometimes doesn't go the way I planned it, and I have learned that it is easier to just float through life, you know? So I'm sitting there, and I have 2 options at that point. I can get pissed off and cuss this dude out, right? Oh, I didn't tell you what he said. So he comes over and he goes, yeah, we can't fix it here. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, we don't change headlights here. I go, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, well, 40 minutes ago you told me you did. 15 minutes ago, you were screwing around up in my whatever. He goes, yeah, you're going to need to take it to a full-service station. We're not a full-service station. I said, okay. And I'm in my head wanting to cuss this dude out, right? And I'm like, no, Peter. Whatever is the issue here, just do not become consumed with it. So he goes, you need to take it to, he tells me that one that I just showed you guys in the video. I'm like, I ain't taking it over to that, okay? Like, I've gone there, they're sketch. I'm not taking it there. I'm like, I'm gonna take it to my Jiffy Lube where I know the guys. I should have just gone there first of all, but the reason I didn't was because I was like trying to get my stuff done. This will teach it. You should go for quality, not quantity, right? So I drive over, I'm talking to Tanya the whole time. I'm driving over to the Jiffy Lube in Fishers, which is about 20 minutes from there. I get there, the guys are like, hey, what do you know? Explain it to them. And I said I was just at another Jiffy Lube. I wasted 45 minutes. They go, well, why did they tell you that they couldn't do it? And I said, they said they weren't a full service station. Well, they all look at each other and roll their eyes, right? I'm like, yeah, I was duped. So anyway, he fixes it literally takes it out, changes it, and has the new one in there. I'm not lying to you, in less than 3 minutes. I go, well, I really appreciate you being a full service station. They all laughed. But anyway, so I left there, run home. You know, Alex is having his friend over. They're going to have a glass of wine, watch some TV, and then he's helping her put her website up. So I hadn't seen her in a while. I was real excited to see her. So my YouNow stream's going on at 8 o'clock. I'm progressively getting tired because I had all these errands to run, right? And I'm like, Peter, get excited about doing this live stream. So I laid down for 20 minutes. I got up. I was super excited. I got all my stuff ready. I was ready to go. So I get on my YouNow stream, and within 15, 20 minutes, I had 100,000 likes. And I was like, I'm going to get 1 million likes tonight. Like, this is what we wanted to do. I was real excited about it. And I had a little special surprise planned for everybody if we hit 1 million likes. I'm not going to talk about what we were going to do because the next time I hit 1 million likes, I'll do it. But I was super excited about it. Well, at about an hour and 15 minutes, YouNow kicks me off, okay? It just all of a sudden freezes up, and then the broadcast goes down. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, right? So I stayed calm. I was like, okay. Because you lose, like, all your likes. Like, they don't add up anymore. If you get back on, you don't have your likes from before. It just adds, do you understand what I'm saying? So I was like, Now, it adds up as far as, like, the broadcaster for that day, like, how many likes you got over the broadcasting of that day. But it doesn't, like, on that specific broadcast, it doesn't show you how many. So I was like, okay. So I went in, I told Alex and Grasha, his friend, I was like, this is what's happening. And Alex is like, oh, babe, I'm so sorry, you know, whatever. So I had 80,000 likes at that time, or 100,000 likes. So I get back on. And at that point, I was on for like an hour and like 15 minutes. I think it had something to do with me guesting people, because I was guesting people and having them come in there and be a guest. And I had like 200,000 likes, okay? Drops me again. I was like, if this ain't some shit tonight, you know? And I was really upset for the people that came in there and that were excited about it. You know, people were spending a lot of money tipping me. People were being really nice. People had gotten specifically ready just to come and be guested. And every time I would guest somebody, it would drop my stream. And so it just was really upsetting to me, because really at the end of the day, you know, I do this to make people happy. I just want us all to be happy doing this, you know? So I go inside. I'm literally now in about tears, okay? And I texted Dustin Daly, and I said, girl, it's dropped me twice. He said, where are you? And I said, I'm not on right now. I'm taking a break. I guess it dropped me twice. And he said, girl, just get back on it. I swear this time it'll work. He was Dustin's always just emotionally supportive of me with anything with YouTube. And if you're going to do something creative, you know, whether it's YouTube or writing a book, you know, or whatever it is, I think you always need to have somebody that understands exactly what you're going through. Because I can explain it to Alex, but he doesn't get it, right? Now, y'all know that my husband is not super supportive, always, 100% of the stuff that I mean, he's supportive, but he doesn't want to be part of it, right? And he knew this was Peter's big pajama party. So I went inside, and they're sitting there, and he's like, oh, is it going well? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what's wrong? He's like, he could tell instantly I was upset. And I was like, it keeps on kicking me off. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. He was like, how many likes are you getting? And I was explaining to him, you know? And he was like, you just have fun with it. He was like, that's what you tell everybody, is just have fun with it. I was like, I know, I'm gonna get back on. I'm just taking a breather for a second. So I get on, and like 15 minutes later, my husband, who doesn't like to be on video, doesn't love all of it. I mean, he loves that I love it, but he doesn't want to be part of it. He came out in a full one-piece Care Bear onesie for me to be at my big pajama party. It melted my heart. It meant so much to me when I saw him standing in the doorway, and he came out there and he sat next to me, and it just was like, It just doesn't take a lot, you know, to make somebody feel special. I don't understand why we don't do that to people more often. And then somebody talked to me in my live stream tonight about this guy, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to link his channel, and I want everybody to go check out his channel, because he's been up for 30 days, and he's been vlogging, and it's amazing. And his channel is called The Life and Times of Lloyd. And they're like, do you know that this guy, and he had literally just snapped me yesterday, and I was like, I responded to him, but I didn't connect it that it was the same guy. So they're like, he talked about, you inspired his vlog. I'm like, what are you talking about? I inspired somebody's vlog. And so I went to his channel, and I watched his very first video. Like, I looked in the description of the very first video, and it said the YouTuber that I was talking about is Peter Mon. Here's his link to his channel. So I went and I watched this video, and it's this guy named Lloyd, and he's from Wales, South Wales. Just super cool dude. Very camera shy like me, but just like fuck it attitude. Like, I'm gonna do this, I wanna do this. And he talked in there about, he had heard me say, and it must have been about when I was talking about Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's book, Americana, and she did a TED Talks, and she talked about the power of a story, and that we all have a story. And he said that I was talking about how each of us have a story, and that each of us need to tell our story. And I was watching this video, and I was like, you know, my story is this. And so, Lloyd, thank you for reminding me of my story. My story is that, you know, so my dad is a plastic surgeon, but, so when I was older, middle school and high school, I had a very nice life. I think that goes without saying. But when I was younger, you know, my parents didn't have a lot of money, and they scraped by, and things were tough. And both of my parents come from very poor backgrounds. They paid for their own educations. Their master's degrees they paid for themselves. You know, my dad's doctorate, or his medical degree, he paid for himself. And so when you don't have a lot of money, and I see this in my sister-in-law today, Liliana. She's so much like my mother. When you don't have a lot of money, but you want your children to have a wonderful life, you take them places that don't cost a lot of money. And one of those places, and Liliana takes Sebastian and Carlitos, I mean, to everything that is free in Indianapolis. Every free museum day, every free festival, everything that is free, she takes those kids to. And I love it because they are so involved. And her Instagram is filled with them always doing free carnivals, free, I mean, if it is free, Liliana's ass is at it. And I love that. She is like, I'm not letting these kids get bored. They're going to grow up. They're going to be entertained, because they moved from a country where they had everything. Liliana had a job where she was like a high financial advisor, and she moved to the United States and she had nothing. And so did Alex's brother. You know, he was a financial advisor in Venezuela as well, and moves here and he has nothing because they had to move here under political asylum because it's so dangerous in Venezuela. And I can't imagine, but she's not going to raise her children without having the same life that she was able to have just because they don't have money. So when you're like me and your parents don't have money when you're young, you take them to things that are cheap. And where did my mom take me? She took me to the library because she loved books, and books were free from the library, but you had to learn something. See, now here, there's another lesson to this, okay? And the lesson is that just because something is free and just because something is borrowed or given to you does not mean that you treat it like shit. So, which, if you know my story later, I left those books in a box outside in the rain. I obviously didn't learn that lesson, but early on, I was like so proud of my library card. I remember we would have those paper library cards, and it had the little metal thing on that. Do you guys remember that? So when you would check out a book, it would stamp over that thing with your number on it. Was so proud of my library card back in the day, and I just cherished it, and I took such good care of my library books, and I learned to love books, and I learned the power of books, and I learned the power of characters, and I learned the power of stories, and characters to me were always people, and their stories were always their lives. And so I learned to fall in love with people and their stories. And today I still love to hear people's stories. And I get in my YouNow stream and I hear about Beth's wiener dogs, or Ellie being a mom of a 2-year-old and how she doesn't have any privacy, and you know, and Lori, you know, sends me messages of her son, and Xander's birthday, and I learn about people. I learn about people because I interact with you guys, and it's fantastic, you know. And those are just 4 people, and I could name, you know, hundreds, and you know, Autumn and Tia and everybody, you know, that watches out there, and it's just amazing to me, you know. It's like Shay shouted me out in her video, and I just got such a kick out of that. I was like, and she watches my vlog, so hey Shay, how are you? And you know, Shay and I are as different as night and day, but like, we each have a story, you know. And what's our story? And what's your story? And so my story is, I'm this kid, and you know, my parents instill this love of reading to me, and they read me stories every night, you know, before I go to bed. And then they teach me to read, and then I fall in love with reading because I want to find out the end of the story. I want to find out what happens. I want to find out what happens to these people that I've fallen in love with, these characters. And then I grow up and I fall in love with books so much that I want to be a writer, and I become a writer, right? And so then I hear about this writer, you know, this phenomenal Nigerian writer, called Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and she writes this book called Americana, and it gets rave reviews. And she does this TED Talks, and she talks about the power of a story. And it affects me so deeply, you know, when she talks about the characters that she read in books were not the people that she knew where she grew up. And that she one day vowed that she would write about characters that grew up the way that she grew up. And she would tell the story of people that were like her. And I vowed to do the same thing. And I wanted to continue to tell my story because our stories are important no matter what your story is. I don't care what your story is. I don't care if your story is that you came from a family of 4 kids, your parents were never divorced and your parents never fought, or if you were adopted, or if you grew up in poverty, if you grew up in richness. You know, I don't care if your story is that you have red hair. I don't care if your story is that you have blonde hair. I don't care what your story is, but we each have a story, and each of our stories are beautiful. And so then I tell my story and I translate that, right? And then Lloyd hears me tell that, and he hears me say, everybody has a story and everybody's story is important. And he makes a YouTube channel about that. And wow, isn't that fucking cool? And isn't that so powerful? That because I fell in love with somebody else's story, and then I talked about that, then somebody heard me talk about it, and then somebody else did something about it, and they passed on their story, and now because of Lloyd, somebody else will make a channel too. And that is awesome. My camera is like, my battery is literally on yellow, so this is gonna die, so this is gonna have to be a really short vlog. But I want to say that that really affected me tonight, that Shay watched my videos and she connects with the stories that I say, and I'm like, oh my god, I love that. And here's somebody, now I've watched her videos and I've fallen in love with her. And Lloyd makes videos, and now I've like watched binge watch a bunch of his videos today, and I love him. And I fall in love with people's stories, and we all have a story, and you have a story, you know. And I know this is getting kind of preachy, but tell your story. Write it down if you don't want to make a YouTube video. Make an anonymous vlog, buy a diary, whatever it is. Write down your story. It's important, you know? Even the smallest things, from your dog's names to your favorite peanut butter and jelly sandwich to the best kind of ice cream that you've ever had, whatever. Those are all parts of our story, you know? Stories are sometimes funny. They don't always have to be deep. Some of my favorite stories are simple, you know? I grew up on Beverly Cleary books, and I loved them, and those were the simplest stories I've ever, you know? So, anyway, I'm gonna get off here before my camera dies. I'm sorry this is really short. I should have plugged in my camera earlier, but I forgot, and that's part of my story, is I'm a forgetter. So, I love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.